Hello, everybody. Welcome to TC Talks. My name is Jake Lerner, and I'm here with Changemakers from Ochoa Elementary School, Tanya, Drake, and Kumba, as well as their coach in the fall semester 2019, Mr. Frey. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Good to be here,
you.
man.
Thank you.
So my first question is for Tanya. Tanya, in the fall of 2019, when you were working with Drake, Kumba, and a few other students, what topic did you end up choosing, and how did you end up choosing it?
We ended up picking child abuse because whenever people heard we had two topics that we were going to choose. It was going to be like environmental care or child abuse. And once I started to hear what people were saying about child abuse and how we can make an impact on it, almost everybody started to raise an ear and say, "Oh, that sounds nice. We should really make an impact on that." And we really wanted to choose that. And at the end of the day, we chose child abuse, and we were all fair about it.
Thank you. Drake, you mentioned before we started recording that child abuse was your idea. How did it feel that the group rallied around your choice of topic?
I think it was kind of chaotic because the way that we did, because it's you had to do on a 1, 2, or 3, I believe. Mr. Frey had us do it, so we all had to pick on what we want to do more. And of course, I picked the highest one for child abuse. And the debating was probably one of the hardest parts because there's multiple people on each side, and at one point it was just completely even, so we had to debate, and eventually child abuse was the one that won.
Thank you. And Kumba, how did you feel during this when you were debating about what topic to choose?
It was kind of frustrating because everybody wants to be on this side, and then everybody's on the other side, and just so which one should I pick? And it's whoa, I don't know. So I don't know how to put it in words, but that's how I feel about it.
So Mr. Frey, coaching this group, what was it like balancing the different opinions and making sure every student got heard?
I mean, we're talking maybe 7 months ago now, but one of the things I really remember, because I think Tanya, you were in favor initially of environment, right? Environmental change or some sort of impact there. And then if I remember right, Drake and Kumba, you were both on the abuse side, right?
Yes.
Is that right, Kumba? Okay. So we have I remember coming in, it was 3 changemakers to each side. I think Tanya wrote a 3-page essay. Drake and Kumba, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the initial session where we were supposed to choose our initiative, and we couldn't arrive at enough of a consensus, and so we're all right, we're going to go home and we can all come back. And that's where everyone kind of prepared their talking points, and it was really exciting to see them go back and forth. But what I remember kind of most poignantly about it is that it was 3 and 3, and as they kept going back and forth discussing each kind of points on each side, it wasn't like people were completely resistant. It was almost like they both reinforced the importance of both projects rather than a resistance. It was more that's a really good point. I could go over here, but I could also go over here. And so no one could really decide where to change. And so that was kind of one of the most rewarding things for me to see as a coach, is to see them both kind of be able to listen and actually hear each other's input, and then still arrive at, a conclusion that everyone felt good about in the end.
Thank you. Tanya, next question is for you. What would you say is the most important thing you learned as a result of your Changemaker semester?
I've learned that the most important thing I've learned is that you should always have confidence in yourself and also in your team, because you rely on your team and you rely on yourself, but it's not as much pressure as you think it would be, but it also helps you become a better person by doing that.
Thank you. Kumba, how about you? What was the most important thing you learned from your Changemaker semester?
That you should always not doubt yourself in anything, almost like what Tanya said, that you should have confidence and you should have confidence in your team, and that anytime like there's like I remember that I saw this quote somewhere. It was like, whenever there's a wall, you don't just stop and go around or go like back, you go around or over or any way you can just to get over it. So that's why I learned that you always have to get like, you always have to face it and not get scared or run away from it.
Thank you. Drake, how about you? What's the most important thing you learned as part of your Changemaker semester?
I would probably have to say teamwork because it helped a lot of teamwork because we all had to work together because it's not like you can't split up in this, it seems that much. It's like we only split up when we were debating on what we were going to do and what we were going to do to help with it. It's like when we were debating over what we're going to do, it was big homie, little homie, and something else. But those are like the only time we ever split. But everything else we had to work together in order to do.
Thank you. And Drake, I'm going to stick with you. What is something, now that you've finished your semester, what is a change that you want to make in the world in the future?
I'd have to say with colleges because some people can't afford them, and scholarships because sometimes it's hard for people to get them, and scholarships would help out a lot.
Thank you. Kumba, how about you? What's an impact that you want to make on the world in the future?
That's actually a good question because I have a lot, but one thing I mostly want to change is like homelessness. That's one of them, of course, and like racism, because a lot of people like to just we already know this. A lot of people just like to put Black people down. So I want to rise them up and make them confident. That's one of the things I want to do.
Thank you. And Tanya, same question. What's something that you want to make a positive impact in the future?
I wanted to do child abuse too, and also in my original idea of going for environmental care because that was really important to me. And also one more thing, I want to like be a person that just talks to people, that just helps them out that need extra support, and like a public speaker that tells them. Cause my uncle, like, he thinks I would be a good one because I have an opinion, like I have big opinion.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, this is the last question. It's for everybody. And we're going to start with Mr. Frey's answer, and then we'll go around. So, Mr. Frey, what is advice that you would give to a student that wants to make a positive change?
I mean, one thing I would say is just, hearing Drake and Tanya and Kumba talk, and, from each of them, I just keep hearing this like nod of like confidence and having the courage to go after it is what you're seeing, or address that challenge that you see, people that you care about facing. And I would just say to not be afraid to take the first step. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. You don't have to do it alone, because chances are anything that you're seeing around you, other people, whether they're talking about it or not, are seeing it and probably being impacted by it. So like the way that each of the changemakers on this call spoke about like that confidence, like confidence is like something that you can build, and taking that first step, that's something I hope that everyone, that's on this call felt through the changemakers process, is once you take that first step, you can actually build that up.
Thank you. Drake, how about you? What is advice you would give to a student who wants to make a positive impact in the community?
I would say if you want to do something, you need to start with small stuff. So you can't just be like, okay, I want to help with child abuse, and you just jump straight to it. You need to take, it's like, okay, so if I do this, then I can do this, and this will help me get closer onto what I want to do. And you can just keep going up and up until you reach your goal.
Thank you. Kumba, how about you?
I think that if I gave somebody else advice, I would probably say like, you should, like, if you have your mind on something and something's not right, you should always like try to fix that problem and not like go back and be like, oh, somebody else is going to do that. And then you can also, I would also say that you should never give up on what's on your mind. And yeah.
Thank you. And Tanya, what advice would you give to a student that wants to make a positive change?
I would say that to never give up on what you want to achieve. And there's always a point of doing something, and it's always there should always be a good point to it, and that you should always believe in yourself, because every steps you do makes the person you are.
Thank you. Well, everybody, this has been TC Talks with Ellen Ochoa. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time.